Hello and welcome to Grindslime TV with me, your host Aaron. And today we're going to look at something a little bit different. Oh yeah, we're heading over to Italy to check out some of their old school OG hardcore. Now I haven't done a lot of hardcore on this channel because I don't actually own that much, but the stuff that I do own I really like. And I first heard of these guys because of I own a Napalm Death DVD and they do the cover on there, and they also do the cover of their song "Politicians" on their "Leaders Not Followers" album, and that is the band Raw Power. Now, this has two albums on here. This is their second album and their third album, which came out in 1985 and 1986, respectively. You've got 30 tracks on here, 17 on the first album, and 13 on the second one. It's all on one disc, so you get a nice, good, solid hour's worth of old school hardcore. This was put out by Back on Black, and this is actually one of their better releases because, as we saw the other day, the 2 minute mutilated gatefold came out pretty well for the most part, but it's really fuzzy on the back. And as I mentioned, there Once Upon the Cross repress was it left a lot of room for admiration, shall we say. But I don't know if you can see on the front here, but the artwork on these two albums is really cool. It's got that sort of really gungy, slimy, kind of very punk rock kind of horror feel to it. But even though they're not a horror band, it's just really cool stuff. And the albums are, the first one on here is Screams from the Gutter, which is my favourite one of the two. And the second one is After Your Brain. Now, the second album's a bit cleaner than the first one on here. It gets a little more poppy in some places. Like you could tell, the sound's a little tiny bit more commercial friendly. Like you can tell in the songs like "You Are Fired" and "Dreamer." There's stuff like that. You can hear it's a bit more but Screams from the Gutter is just straight up raw hardcore the way it's supposed to be made. It's fast, it's angry, but it's still catchy. It's still got those really cool little hooks and stuff. And it's the same sort of like lyrical content you'd expect, the sort of like blue collar day to day sort of issues, not liking your boss, not having enough money. It has a go with things like, politics and capitalism and authority figures, police, that kind of thing. So if you're into that sort of stuff, then this is definitely the band for you. And so these were a big influence on like Napalm Death, and it shows. Like you can totally tell. I mean, the vocals aren't what I would call clean vocals, but they're not like growly or shouty or anything either. It's just very old school sort of punk kind of flavour. And you've got some photos there in the background. If you can make those, like live stuff, some mosh pits. You've got Fred Flintstone in there, which is doing his thing just there. Hello, where am I? So he's got his thing going on. Got your standard CD art, which is always cool. And you've got the whole stuff here. So they've got the lineups for both albums and the recording information and whatnot. Earache, I hope you're watching this. And you've got artwork throughout as well, all the lyrics. Really cool stuff. A lot of people I notice tend to go, "Oh yeah, it's really broken English." Well, I bet they speak better English than you do Italian, so shush. So really cool release here. If you like the really old sort of like the Vibrators or early sort of like exploited, sort of punk's not dead sort of era, then this is something that I think you'll really get on with. It's typically got all the short songs, as you can imagine. There's 30 tracks here, and I think it's either just up under or just over an hour. I think it's the former, but this gets quite a few spins here, and when you're having a particularly bad day, like I say, like your boss is pissing you off, or all the bills keep coming in, you can just throw this on and just let the anger just see through you. It's really, really cool stuff. And if you like your old school sort of there's a lot of here stuff here that does remind me of like the New York hardcore scene and the Washington scene, you know, like Bad Brains and whatnot. The old school classics, you know, the Verucas, Vibrators, all all the ones with, begin with V, you know, all that lot. I mean, if you're into your straight up sort of crossover hardcore, like your Agnostic Front and sort of later Sick of It All, if that's your jam, like strictly just that, then this might not necessarily be for you. But if you're an old school sort of punk and you love that aggressive, anarcho, straight to the point, short and nasty kind of thing, then I absolutely think this is something that you would really enjoy. It's on Spotify, it's on YouTube. These are the only two albums I've actually checked out because they're the only ones I own. But I would very much like to get their first album too because I hear that's really good. That one came out in '84, and I can't remember what that one's called. Uh, yeah, it's gone from my brain. But yeah, absolutely. If you're ever in the mood for just being an angry teenager, you can do a lot worse than Raw Power. So that's it from that at the moment. And up next, we'll have part 7 of my top 50. So thank you for tuning in, support the underground, and play dead if you see a bear. Because, or don't. I don't know if that's worse. Anything could happen.